My dad always had horses. From a young age I had horses and riding horses, and he was breeding, messing around with thoroughbreds, and he eventually started training on his own, and I was always in the yard interested in horses, and that's how I got involved in horses.
Born in February 1957 and raised in Edenvale, Buddy Maroun started his own stable at Reinkiesfontein in 1992. 6 years ago, he moved on, setting up this training facility here at Putfontein, outside Benoni.
My brother and I involved in this. My brother bought this place, and it's a private facility, and we built it up. It's a lot of money involved setting it up the way you want it and having the right tracks and the right stabling. But it's an advantage because you haven't got outside interference. You can have the tracks exactly how you like them. I can make it the depth I want to and have it the type of surface I'd like to work also on. And my day starts at about 7 in the morning. I start riding, and I ride most of my horses. And it just goes from till the last one's finished working. So it's a lot of work, and it's tiring, and some days you don't feel like it at all. But it's an important part. It's another way of knowing exactly where your horses are at what point, and understanding them better and knowing their behaviour and their character comes out when they're working and when you're riding them.
Himself an athlete in his younger days, Buddy has an unrivaled reputation for turning out top-class sprinters. Limiting the size of his string, he prefers a manageable, hands-on approach.
By the time I got 51 horses, it's very difficult to train more than that amount of horses unless you've got a lot of assistance. But to know each horse, and you've got to know them as individuals, because they are individuals. They're all very, very different. They've got completely different ways, and they need different work, different feed. It's like athletes, like human athletes, and I did athletics at a young age, and I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from that, and I trained very hard, and I was doing sprints, and by doing it you actually learn a bit what's really involved and what you need to do to perform, and that's helped me along quite a bit in training a racehorse. It doesn't matter what race you win with the horse, it always means something. You enjoy each winner if you're very close to your horses, and they're all individuals, and you can get a horse that wins one race, but it can mean a lot to you for that particular horse to do well.
Over the past decade, the Buddy Maroun yard has featured prominently on the feature sprint circuit countrywide. Of all the speed merchants that Buddy has turned out, 4 in particular, often competing in the same event, will long be remembered. Fov's favourite, All Will Be Well, Elnatak, and the great Golden Loom.
Golden Loom on the outside, Elnatak in the middle of the track, but here comes the old champion, Golden Loom from Elnatak. Oh, stand up, ladies and gentlemen. Golden Loom's won the senior.
I've had some very good horses, whether they were champions, it's hard to say. Golden Loom, he finished up doing exceptionally well, and he achieved it because he could win with high weights, and I think in the best of company and in the biggest of races. So I think you got to say a horse like that is a real good horse. But depending on the temperament and soundness, it depends where they're going to finish up in their career.
The inside of those, All Will Be Well, El Paso behind that, then Golden.
Yeah, I've had a horse like All Will Be Well. Also, didn't think much of him. He battled the first year or two as a horse in training, and finished up winning a lot of races, and Fov's favourite. But these are good horses. They were naturally good horses. A horse like Follow the Falcon also battled in his early part of his career, but was a top horse. He finished up doing very well.
Out well, Elnatak in the middle of the track.
He arrived here, we were racing him over the wrong distance, and the first day I worked him, I could feel this is a very, very good horse. I mean, he looked apart, he looked very well, he looked good. And within 3 or 4 weeks, he was working with Golden Loom, he was working with the top sprinters. So So he had the ability, and the ability was always there. So I wouldn't say I improved him at all. He was a bit fractious in the pens. He did a lot of work on that, and a lot of people involved there. But we got over that eventually, and at one point you thought you'll never get him right. But he came right, and he went on and done good things.
Elnatak up the outside and Hilarious on the far side. It's Elnatak who does well. Elnatak's won it.
Elnatak and Golden Loom were both awarded champion older sprinter honours in their time. But as early as 1992, in his first year as a trainer, Buddy showed his all-round depth when he took the country's premier staying event, the Cannon Gold Cup over 3,200 metres with Highland Knight.
Closing the gates on Highland Knight, runners set in motion from the 3,000.
Highland Knight was also very difficult also in the beginning. He had very little speed. I mean, very little speed, and when I worked him at home, he couldn't get around the track like a stayer, like you'd think he would. You know, you'd get tired halfway around the track. But in a race, he just had the ability to stay, and that's difficult to say. Whether they're going to do it in a race or not, it's very hard to say in training. But on the race course, he could do it, and also where they can do it. He loved a short type of running straight, like gravel, and he's exceptionally good there. You race him at Turfington, he wasn't as good as a stayer, but they're all individuals, and they got preferences, courses, and the way the course is.
Highland Knight from St. Philippi, Tarzan flying, Badger's Coast come from nowhere. Highland Knight, Badger's Coast flying, Highland Knight won it.
My seasons have been very consistent, and when you win feature races, you've got to count yourself lucky, and not easy, and a lot of things got to be going for you, and you've got to have the right horses for those races. And for the last 8-9 years, it's been very, very consistent every year. I just like the stable to flow and the owners to be happy and the horses earning good money, and I think that's the important part.
Vega's on the stand side in the yellow and racing about 7-8 off the lead.
The horse that's doing the very best for me is Vega, and doesn't show a lot at home, but a good horse on the racetrack, good turn of foot. There's a few decent horses, and hopefully up and coming horses, and I've got a few babies here, young horses, and some show you a lot of ability, but like I said, they got to show you there on the course, so that's where it counts.
Now flying is Vega. He takes off with a pair of wings and wins going away and wins the Tommy Artsberg.
Back at the ranch, it's the start of another day for the Buddy Maroun yard. And what of the future? Plans to venture overseas? Maybe Dubai?
Yeah, you'd love to, but you've got to have the right horses and the right kind of people to work for, and that opportunity comes and it's right, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I've been training now for maybe 14 years, and what I've done in training horses and what the horses have done, I'm pretty content, you know, and if better things come along, well, great, and if not, well, I'm pretty happy with what has happened with horses.